Former special counsel Jack Smith is appearing on Capitol Hill today for a private deposition in front of the Republican-led House Judiciary Committee. The meeting will give Republican lawmakers the chance to put pressure on Smith, who was appointed in 2022 to oversee the DOJ's investigations into President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election and his handling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Although the cases were dropped after President Trump won re-election, Republicans are eager to get the Biden-era special counsel on record defending his investigations. Here with more is the Hill's White House reporter Brett Samuels. Hey, Brett. So the stakes are high for Republicans today. This is a moment they've been chomping at the bit for quite some time. What is the end game here? Are they digging for more information that could eventually open the door for a criminal investigation into Smith?
Yeah, I think, Drew, that's certainly a possible end game that Republicans and President Trump certainly has made no secret that he would potentially like to see some kind of criminal charge or something brought against Jack Smith. Certainly, President Trump feels like this was, a witch hunt against him, a politicized probe against him, a weaponization of the Justice Department, as President Trump likes to call it. So, it's certainly possible that the end game here is searching for any kind of wrongdoing or mishandling of this case that could lead Republicans down that path for Jack Smith. But, more broadly in the short term, I think this is just a way for Republicans to kind of keep this issue in the spotlight. Obviously, this is something Republicans feel like is a good narrative for them if they can continue to push this idea that President Trump was victimized, that he was targeted unfairly here. That's something that they certainly would like to keep sort of in the spotlight.
How far-reaching will this investigation be? Are there others that are being targeted by Republicans here?
Yeah, well, we've seen sort of an initial expansion of this investigation with the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, the chairman of that committee, signaling that he's going to look to talk to staffers who worked with Jack Smith. So, certainly it looks like it's going to go beyond Jack Smith himself, potentially include others who are on his team who are involved in these investigations into President Trump. So, there is certainly indications that this is going to expand beyond just Jack Smith himself. And again, sort of an indication that Republicans are looking to kind of keep this issue front and center beyond just today's deposition.
Do we know what the Republican focus will be today? I mean, when these hearings are in public, they often become a spectacle, but I imagine it's going to be a little bit different considering this is behind closed doors.
Yeah, I think that is an important distinction, Drew, the fact that this is taking place behind closed doors. Obviously, if this were sort of out in the open in public, which perhaps some people would have been fine with, it certainly had the potential to turn into a spectacle, as you said, a chance for different sides to just score kind of political points and sound bites. But because it is behind closed doors, I think, it's possible that there will be more serious questions, actually looking into the basis for these investigations, looking to learn about exactly how this investigation came about how Jack Smith handled these investigations, handled these charges against President Trump, then candidate Trump. So, it'll be interesting to see coming out of this meeting what lawmakers and what Jack Smith's attorneys say was actually discussed behind closed doors.
What kind of laws is Smith bound by? I mean, is his ability to share information be limited in any way?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously he's no longer at Justice Department, conducting an active investigation, leading sort of an active, effort to carry out charges against President Trump. So, he can't necessarily just point to the fact that there's an ongoing investigation, that he can't comment, et cetera, et cetera. Certainly there are some things, since he was dealing with sort of sensitive issues when it comes to grand juries and, classified documents, particularly in the one case and sort of behind closed doors deposition from various witnesses in both of those cases that he was overseeing. There will certainly be some things that he won't be able to disclose, but, I think he'll be more free to speak about and sort of defend his work, just given the fact that it is not ongoing, the fact that he's not currently kind of working for the Justice Department. Will certainly give him a bit more freedom to I think, speak openly about sort of his work and how he felt like it was justified.
President Trump has gone as far as to call for Jack Smith to be jailed on several occasions. If this investigation turns into a prosecution, I mean, is there a possibility, or what is the likelihood that this could eventually turn into criminal charges, or is this more kind of a political prosecution?
Yeah, I think it certainly leans toward the latter when you kind of look at the scope of this investigation and what exactly this committee might actually find. It's not really clear to me what criminal charges Republicans would pursue and the Department of Justice would pursue against Jack Smith. There's been a lot of talk about whether the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago a couple years ago that was connected to this classified documents case. A lot of talk among President Trump and his allies about whether that was legal. But certainly that it's unclear where that would lead to as far as criminal charges against Jack Smith. So I do think that this tends to be more of kind of a political exercise, a messaging exercise, a way for Republicans to kind of continue to beat this drum, to say that President Trump was unfairly targeted. They've certainly kind of cloaked this in the idea that they don't want others to be unfairly targeted by the Justice Department. But, as far as criminal charges and actually, putting Jack Smith on trial, it's sort of unclear what exactly the path is to doing that and whether that would actually hold up, in front of a grand jury, in front of a court, et cetera.
Last question. Would there ever be a public version of this? Like, is he going to testify publicly where we can see him answer questions?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think, that's something obviously that would take the cooperation of both Jack Smith and lawmakers. Obviously, I think there are reasons for both sides to want to do that. So it's certainly possible that at some point he may testify publicly about this case. But I think the sort of risk, the other side of that is, as we talked about, Drew, the fact that oftentimes those public hearings do become kind of sideshows, spectacles, chances for lawmakers to just kind of score points and yell at the witness and get their viral moment. So perhaps it's for the best for everyone in terms of actual gaining information if this remains behind closed doors, but certainly wouldn't rule out the possibility that at some point we see Jack Smith come before Congress and speak out in the open publicly.
All right, we will continue to follow, but for now we'll leave it at that. Brett Samuels, thanks so much.
Thanks, Drew.